All right, hey gang, we want to get right into the review for today. And so, as usual, if it's just review, if you feel good enough with this, if you want to speed it up or get to a certain part and look and, oh, I understand what he's saying, that's fine with me. But again, make sure you know what you're doing because we're going to be having our test over this here in a couple of days. So just making sure on that. So I'm out and we'll go through these problems here. So what I did, instead of having the textbook out with me, I just kind of highlighted what was happening in each of the problems. So I guess we want to make sure that we have the slope formula down, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? And that you know and understand how to use one of these two formulas based on the stuff that we've been looking at. So either point slope form or your slope intercept form. Again, I don't care which one you use, and I'll be bouncing back and forth between these two just to make sure we've got this down. So in looking at number 2, I know that I have an x and a y and the slope, and I want to find the equation of that in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to go ahead and plug it into my slope-intercept itself, and then work it out from there. Again, you can use the point-slope form over here. You can use the point-slope form, but it doesn't matter which one you use. So -5 is the y value, 2/3 is the slope, 3 is the x value, and b is my y-intercept. I'm going to multiply these two together first, giving me 2. 2/3 of 3 is 2. And then I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and that's my y-intercept. Now, again, I can't emphasize this enough. If you're using this form, take that extra step and go ahead and show the final equation to your answer. Okay, y equals 2/3 x minus 7 is our final answer. Okay. Number 4, instead of giving the slope, they're giving you a point and the slope. So I'm going to go ahead and find out what that slope is. And so I'm going to take y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And so we end up with 3 over -4, or -3/4. And this is your slope, okay? Now, you need to take one of these 2 points. It doesn't matter to me which one, but you need to take one of the two. I'll take the first one since it's already x sub 1 and y sub 1. I'm going to use the point-slope form this time. So y minus the y value equals the slope, x minus the x value, okay? And now I'm going to go ahead and distribute this into the parentheses here. So y minus 5 equals -3/4 x plus 6/4 would end up being 1.5, right? Yeah, so 1.5. Had to do that in my head there. And then from there, I'm going to go ahead and add 5 to both sides. So my final equation to this is going to be plus 6.5. Okay, y equals -3/4 x plus 6.5. Excuse me. Number 6, we're doing the exact same thing. So again, I'm going to go ahead and find the slope, which is going to be -4 minus -1 over 9 minus 7. Okay, so -4 plus 1 is -3. 9 minus 7 is 2. I'm going to leave that as an improper fraction of -3 over 2. Again, you know what? I just realized something. This should have been a 1 there. X sub 1, y sub 1. Okay, sorry about that. From there, I'm going to choose, let's just choose this first point again, but this time I'm going to use my slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept would be y equals mx plus b, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and work this out. This ends up being 21 over 2, so a -10.5. And I'm going to add 10.5 to both sides, which gives me 9.5 is my y-intercept, okay? So remember, I have to put this back together in an equation. So y equals mx plus b, okay? So a lot of moving parts there. Let's make sure that we get those down correctly, okay? Now, in number 9, here's what we have. Again, we have 2 points along a line, And we're supposed to determine the equation just like we did on numbers 4 and 6. So I'll go ahead and do this and find the slope. 680 minus 160 over 500 minus 100. Okay, now this ends up being, what is that, 520? 680, yep, good. 520 over 400, sorry. Okay, 400. And so what I could do here, I'm going to reduce this down. Dividing both those by 10, I get 52 over 40. Dividing by 4, I would get 10 over 13, 13 over 10. Okay, so this ends up being 13 over 10. That's my fraction for my slope. Okay, now I'm going to use the very first one here, big numbers here. Y minus the y value is equal to the slope x minus the x value. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and distribute this into the parentheses. Y minus 160 would equal 13 over 10 x. Let's see here, 10 minus 130. I'm going to add 160 to both sides, so you have 13 over 10x plus 30. Okay, negative 130 plus 160 give me plus 30. Okay. Now, if I look here in part B, it says 750 square foot room, and it's asking how long it's going to take. So I'm going to take that 750 and plug it in for x, the room size. Let's see here, 13 over 10. Oh, I want to plug that in for the room size, so that should have been 750 right there, plus 30. Okay, so as I look at this, here's what I have. 13 divided by 10 times 750 plus 30. 1005. Now, time required. I'm going to go ahead and check something real quick here. I'm going to go back to this problem. Time required. Where is that? Time required. What problem was that? That was 9, right? 9? Yeah. No, it just says time required. Okay. I don't think it says minutes or hours. Okay. So we're going to say 1,005. I don't know what that means, minutes or hours, but hopefully it doesn't take that many hours. Holy cow, that'd be a long time. Time required there. So anyways, that's what I got for that one. If I go on to the next one, coming back here to my, oh, not that one, there you go. Okay. I want parallel. Now remember, parallel means it has to be the same slope as this one. So my slope right now is -3. Okay. We used the point slope form on the last one, so I'll use the slope intercept form on this one. Y equals mx plus b. This ends up being 15. Subtracting 15, you get -14 as your y-intercept. So in the end, y equals the slope. There you go. Y equals -3x minus 14. Oh, goodness. I totally did that without you even seeing it. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense to you what I've done there in working that out. Let me know if you have any questions. Goodness, I've been tired today. Whew. Wake up. All right, here we go. Last two problems. Get after it. Perpendicular. Perpendicular means my slope has to be the opposite reciprocal. This one's positive, so my slope is going to be negative. Reciprocal is going to be 4/1. Okay? And I used slope-intercept form on that last one, so I use point-slope form on this one. So y minus the y value equals the slope x minus the x value. Okay? Give me 1 second. All right, Mr. Krelling stopped by and I had to chat with him about it. So anyways, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my double negative to a positive. Then I'm going to distribute that -4. And then I'm going to add 6 to both sides. There you go. Okay. So one thing to double check this, just making sure we understand this. If you want to double check this equation right here, I guess the easiest thing to do would be to graph this line in Desmos, graph this point in Desmos, and then graph that line in Desmos. And you're going to see that this line is not only going to go through that point, but it's going to be perpendicular to that segment, or that line right there. Okay. Now, I made a note to myself to look at number 16, so C problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at number 16 real quick. It says this, adoption. The table shows the number of children from Ethiopia adopted, by U.S. citizens. Year since 2000, number of children. Write the slope-intercept form of the equation for the line of best fit. Oh, line of best fit. Well, we are going to have to go ahead and plot these points and figure out the line of best fit. So I'm going to pause this for a moment and actually plot these in Desmos, and then we'll go from there. So let's do that. All right, so what I ended up doing here, and I'm going to show you this, I ended up graphing the points on Logger Pro that were given to us in that problem there. And I need to figure out the equation of the line of best fit. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to say the line's going to come somewhere right in through here. Okay? So I'm going to use this point right here. I'm going to say 10. I'll write this down. 10, comma, let's say 2,100. And then the other point, I'll go back here. I think this is a good middle point through my line right there. That one's 7, 1254. Okay, so as I show you the work here, this is really important for your test. I want to make sure we've got this down. So once you've graphed your points, you graphed your points, you want to be able to go ahead and pick 2 points along a line of best fit. So you'll draw a line of best fit in, and you got to pick 2 points. Now I picked these 2. Now from here, I'm going to determine the equation of this line. So if I do that, I need my slope first, and then my y-intercept. So I'll go ahead and do this. The slope will be 1254 minus 2100 over 7 minus 10. Okay? Now, off the top of my head, and I want to double check this before I do anything, I've got 12 minus 5400, 1254 minus 2100, 650, 750, 746, no, 846. Yeah, it's good I checked that there. Okay, and then -3. Now, does that divide through by -3? I'll just divide by 3. I know it's a positive answer. 282. So my slope is -282. Okay. Now, from there, I'm going to go ahead and apply that to one of these 2 points. I'll do it to the first one here. So I'll do y equals mx plus b. Okay. From there, 2100 equals -2820 plus b. I'm going to add that to the other side. So you end up having oh, sorry, this should have been a positive. A double negative makes a positive because someone quite working out there. Okay, so now that makes sense. So I'm going to subtract 2,820 from both sides. And if I do that, I get -720. Okay, that's my y-intercept. And so if I go down here, my equation, y equals 282x minus 720. okay? Now, what I'm going to do, I want to double check this. This will be interesting to see how close we were to the actual. If I bring up Logger Pro, and I want to go ahead and do the line of best fit, all right, let's see here. The slope, I had 282, it was 280, almost 286, so close. Y-intercept is negative 756, I have negative 720, close enough, okay? We just wanted a general estimate of the line of best fit. This is the exact one, but we're pretty close there. All right, now from there, the second part of this problem, oh, I didn't show that to you. Sorry, guys. Still getting used to this. So if I bring back up the line of best fit, sorry. So again, the slope was 286, y-intercept was negative 757, basically, okay? All right, now, if I go back to the story problem that we had, let's see here, right there, okay? Make this bigger again. Oh, let's go out here. It says this, predict the number of children from Ethiopia who will be adopted in 2025. Now, if this is years since 2000, I'm going to go out 25 years. So my x value is going to be 25, and I want to figure out the y value. So when I look at my paper here, I'm going to plug in. So this is part A. Part B, I'm going to plug in 25 for x, and then go ahead and solve for y, okay? So if I do that, 282 times 25 minus 720, 6,330. I just want to make sure that my calculator did it correct. Yep, good. Okay, so the number of children that will be adopted from Ethiopia in 2025, if these statistics were correct, would be estimate 6,330 children adopted. Okay. Anyways, thank you for listening. Hope that made sense. You can go on and do the quizzes now.